Hello and welcome to White Space number 3. My name is Bill Boyle and we're filming this slightly early because of the bank holiday. And for those of you who are watching reruns on Dave, well, I'll leave you to that. We have Peter Judge and Paul Mangles. Paul is our awards impresario and Peter's going to be grilling him on how he's going to be organising the very, very best party of the year.
Thank you very much, Bill. Yes, we thought it was time you had a chance to meet some of the other people that make DCD happen. So Paul, we've mentioned the party. The party is the best party of the year, but I think there's probably more to the awards than that. Can you give us some idea of why it's important for the winners and for the industry as a whole?
Sure, yeah, thanks very much. And you're quite right, we do run and have for around 7 years now run the best party and the biggest ceremony in the data center industry. It's a very simple process. So I see the awards as a natural progression of everything that DatacenterDynamics do. I see our position in the industry as being one that educates and helps organizations to tell their stories. The awards is a platform where all sorts of organisations can recognise the strength and the leadership and the innovation that they show in data centre projects, people and teams. So for our entrants and ultimately our winners, it's a wonderful opportunity to benchmark their success, but it's also brilliant from a way of positioning themselves in the marketplace as the thought leaders and the true pioneers that are bringing the growth and the innovation through.
Okay, brilliant. After that many years, it must be tempting to sit back and let it all just roll on. So is this year's awards, are they the same as previous years?
No, it's a good question, and we are making some significant changes because I think most people would recognise that the data centre market is a different animal today than to what it was in 2007. So the basic tenets stay the same. We are looking to recognise success, leadership and innovation within best practice projects, people and teams. But where we're making significant changes is within the wording of our categories. So people who would have been through the process before would have noticed that there were categories that looked at size of data centre. We don't think that that's a true reflection of success or innovation within the data center marketplace anymore. And so we are moving to be a little bit more industry specific. For instance, we have categories that now look at the enterprise data center of the year or the service provider data center of the year. We retain our team awards and our future thinking awards, but are both prefaced within critical facilities. So whilst there is clearly still a focus very much on the data center side of things, we understand that not everything happens in the data centers, so there's some opportunities there. We have some very exciting categories that are linked to the Open Compute project and the way that technology trends are being pushed through that as well, and a focus on cloud and a company's cloud journey of the year. And I think that would be a very interesting one because if nothing else, cloud is choice within this marketplace, and it's interesting not only to see the journey that people take, but the strategy and the thinking behind why they take that journey in the first place. One of the categories that I'm very interested to see entries in is our Data Center Impact Award. That's an idea that the way data centers are moving and the innovation within them can actually be a force for good in local communities or local economies or that type of thing as well. So we have a brilliantly wide range of categories, lots there for solutions providers, lots there for enterprise and end users, lots there for the channel partners, and some wonderful ways to get their name up in lights for the brilliant stuff that they do. I know that this is a global thing, so I'd like to highlight the fact that these awards are live in Europe, Middle East and Africa, North America, Singapore and the Asia Pacific, Brazil and Mexico as well. So it really gives us an opportunity to take a global look at success and innovation from the data center industry, and with all of that content and best practice that we recognise, understand trends from different regions and maybe cross-pollinate the best practice along to different people who may not sit in Brazil but would be very interested in what's going on in Brazil. And a lot of that can be around consumption and power shortages and all of that kind of stuff that can be very useful in other regions as well. So all in all, it's very much a celebration of our industry, celebration of everything good that goes on within our industry, and a nice opportunity for companies to recognise and highlight the success of their people and their projects.
Excellent. There's one thing that really jumped out to me about the awards, the requirements for entry.
Right.
In every one it says this must have been implemented within the last year or 18 months. They're about actual data centres. That's what I like about them.
Absolutely, yes. And with the exception of things like the Future Thinking Awards,
Yeah.
we're not having anything that's untested or blue sky thinking. It has to have been used by an end user. It has to be able to show positive results. It has to show that you overcome the challenges that were unforeseen along the way, and you've developed along the way in a really clever and suitable way. So I think yes, it's a wonderful celebration of the data center marketplace and the people who work within it.
But it's also useful for everyone who not only comes along but then reads about the awards and because they can learn from it. There's so much to learn from.
Yeah, another notable change that we are making this year is we've invested in a new website, which anybody who's been through the entry or the judging procedure will know that wasn't the easiest to manoeuvre, shall we say. The new website will make it much easier to enter. It will make it much more efficient from a judging perspective. But I think most importantly, what it will do is it will allow us to have a space where we profile and we celebrate our winners. And so it will almost become a library of data center best practice. If you are in the industry and you want to find out how somebody has done it best in the past, you will go to our website to find out that information.
And the details of that website will be in the next issue.
They will, yeah, DatacenterDynamics/awards.
Excellent. So if you think you're a contender, if you're watching this video, get in touch with Paul. Many thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Well, thanks very much to Paul Mangles for that very interesting little segment on the awards. Max.
Hello.
Max Smolax joins us once again. Max, what's your news for this week?
My week was full of RISC.
Well, we know that. We know that. It's just a normal daily event for you.
The global strategy game? Did you take Kamchatka?
No, but there was a cool battle for Ontario. No, RISC, they reduced instruction set computing. Yes. Got it first attempt. So this week, several things happened at once. First, I talked to the president of OpenPower, IBM's sort of pet project, which tries to inject new life into the old, ancient, respectable, but also boring power architecture, and do the same thing that ARM did with RISC, I guess, in mobile. So the two architectures are kind of similar. And now with OpenPower, the licensing model is also similar. IBM is also licensing its chips. Anybody can make one. And most of the interest is coming out from China, because you know how China tries to wean itself off Western technologies. I mean, there's countless examples of this. The government computers can't run Windows 8. And I think Intel has had some troubles, and we all know about security, so Western security companies are a no-go. So Power has a lot of potential in China. They already have a first server out, and because of what they do, sooner or later they will compete in ARM with ARM in servers.
Right. But ARM's been trying to get into the server market for years. Surely OpenPower will be so far behind it's not worth doing.
Well, OpenPower has been, the thing is, Power chips have been doing this for ages. I mean, the open approach is new, but the architecture is not. So there is software, there are applications, it's well known, and I guess there's a developer pool as well. And this is how they got 100 members in a year. But I guess we'll see what happens. Another RISC-related piece of news is MIPS open sourced its chip for academics. So MIPS is yet another architecture, and it was acquired by Yeah, who was it?
Imagination.
Imagination acquired MIPS for 100 million, and now they're giving away an example of a chip to universities because the design is legendary because it's simple. It's elegant, and it's a perfect processor to learn about processing.
Yes, this is the academics RISC chip.
Yes. So we've got a wide choice of RISC chips, and I mean, who's going to win?
Intel.
A very cynical statement. How many universities are likely to take advantage of the ability to?
Well, they had a few examples of who's signing up. So one I definitely remember is University College of London, and there was a couple of universities in the US and a couple of universities once again in China. So some work is going on.
Because UCL just opened a new database in conjunction with a couple of other academics. Very, really interesting.
Right.
Lots of work in
Good.
Peter,
So which one should we send Max to? China, or should we send him to London?
China. So we expect a report back from China quite soon.
Fine, I'm going.
Good. He is going.
Right. So
You or me?
I can go next. Arc Flash. Mine's quick.
Arc flash. That sounds
Arc Flash.
right. That
It's-
sounds pretty serious.
Yes, explosive discharge in the data center, and it's all because data centers are being run with high expectations of their availability. Chris Crosby of Compass has raised this as an issue, and we've got an article on it in the next magazine. And essentially, the danger is if you're working on live electrical equipment, you can get big sparks, and it's not the electricity that kills you, it's the heat and the explosive force from it. It's comparatively rare, but it's more of a risk than data center people should be asked.
Why are some data center managers asking their staff to work on live electrics?
It all depends on how you've got the electrics connected up. You should have, if for the highest level of availability, you should have 2 separate feeds, so you can shut one down and work on the other, and obviously have them carefully labelled and colour-coded so you know which one you're working on. But it might be that some parts of your power system aren't actually completely duplicated. Okay, so
data centers kill.
data centers can kill.
Read it next issue of DatacenterDynamics.
And now, Bill, what have you got to talk about?
Well, I was certainly struck by an article by our roving reporter Nick Booth on odd jobs in the data center. And he was talking about things like things that can go wrong in the data center, like server moves, where you employ a company to move some servers. And he was talking about a mistake that some people make by not checking out that people who are doing it are qualified to do this job. And for example, they scuff their shoes along the nylon carpets as they move the servers.
I could lead to arc flash.
Well, maybe slightly less than arc flash, but it's static discharge, which can destroy your chips. They found he quotes one example, but the static wasn't discharged before they put equipment onto a plane, packed into flight cases for a plane. As soon as the plane landed, the static just destroyed all the servers, and they're just wondering why we got a whole flight load of dead servers. And of course, it took them ages to work it out. Not an easy one to work out. And he was also talking about do your due diligence on the companies that you employ to move your stuff, because there was one company who asked a company to move, a removal company come. They load the stuff into the back of a van. They say, "We'll see you at the new data center," and it never arrived because they stole it. So there we are. There's more interesting things in there, but that was I enjoyed that. Good, nice one, Nick.
Excellent. Well, good. It's all fun in the world of data centers, and apart from arc flash, which is not fun at all.
That wasn't fun. No. Thank you. We shall see you for have a great bank holiday, and we shall see you next week for White Space.